From Ohio's haylofts and tool sheds, driveways and blacktops where future legends practice buzzer beaters under dimly lit mercury lights, it's the show that covers all things high school basketball. Here is Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat, driven by Terry Hendricks Auto Group. And now two basketball titans whose pregame speeches would have made even John Wooden cry. OHSAA Hall of Fame coaches and your hosts, Doug and Dave Kraus.
I don't know if Johnny would cry on my pregame speeches or not, but you know what? I wasn't really a guy that did the old fire and brim stuff. I tried to be real positive. I tried to, make it really simple. I said, play hard and have fun, but I didn't get really too emotional on it. We played Patrick Henry once a year. I got a little fired up that game sometimes, but Wauseon game and maybe Otto Glandorf and about every other team too. But I know, not really. I was pretty calm, collected, and cool and edgy, obviously. Always edgy.
I would say the same in terms of we just basically worked on reviewing responsibilities, scouting reports, just going over that kind of stuff, just simple and just trying to set the keys to the game and saying, okay, fellas, let's, the hay's in the barn by that time, so let's hopefully they've understood the responsibilities and let's go play.
Yeah, and again, I would always add, hey, we want to play harder than them. We want to be the team that, plays hardest tonight again, and that team that does usually wins.
Ditto to that. What about our show today there, Doug?
Well, I think our show is a great show. We have our coaches are a little bit different in their years and so forth. We have first-year coach, girls coach at Edon, Brien Moore, and doing a nice job. And we have a long-time assistant coach at Wauseon High School, Dave Storrer, who has a great story to tell also personally. And then our two senior spotlight is Mack Hieber from PH, whose team is having a great season. And we have a pair of lady Panthers from Delta, Keagyn, Gillen, and Abbie Todd, who again, they're having a great season as well. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the Coach's Corner right now.
Okay, we want to introduce and welcome Brien Moore. Brian's the head coach of the Edon Lady Blue Bombers. Coach, thanks for taking the time today.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Great, our pleasure. Hey, you're in your first season in your current role as the Lady Bombers coach. And you got off to a really good season. You've had 15-5 season. You're 5-1 in the BBC. Right now, you set behind Striker, who's undefeated, but they have two more league games. So they have a North Central game and a Fayette game, a makeup to be played yet. You only have one league game, so obviously all of Edon rooting big time for North Central and Fayette moving forward here.
Oh yeah, two quality programs there, and Striker. They've been the pinnacle in the conference for the last since Steve Brown was coach, and you want to win the league. Obviously, it's going to go through them every year. So, just thankful for being in the situation, to have a chance for a league title.
That's for sure. That's where you want to be at this point of the year. Talk about maybe some of your coaching background and your experiences prior to this year.
Yeah, so I had served as a varsity assistant and junior high coach right out of high school, Edon High School grad in 2011. Bounced around then to the girls program for a couple years, and then actually spent 10 years as a varsity baseball coach before taking over this summer. Again, had a lot of great coaches I've worked under along the way, played for TJ Hammer, Fayette, and then I coached under now assistant John Gallagher, and then now Fayette girls coach Travis Arkwright. So definitely gained a lot of great experience for them, and just thankful for the opportunity to lead our girls basketball program at Edon.
Yeah, well, let's take a closer look at this season squad. Maybe what do you see as some keys, Brien, as to the success your team's had?
It's just overall experience. We didn't lose anybody from last year's team. Bring back 4 starters and Grace and Jenna Ribke, Addie Briner, and Nevaeh Smith, who's a junior guard for us. And then had some girls that played some big roles as freshmen last year, and Kaylin Bartlett and Addie Snyder. So just overall experience last year, I think that's led to the success this year. They know what it takes to compete at the varsity level. they're taking our terminology that we've brought in and they're putting it into good use. And, ultimately, it's just, I think it just goes back to experience.
Well, you mentioned 10 years as a head baseball coach, which is a good run. What drew you, Brien, to the head girls coaching position?
Yeah, it was just the kids. I was pretty close with Coach Walker. Her and we'd have go bounce back and forth last year during her season. She would help me out with some things during baseball. When I found out she took the Angola job, it was very appealing because, the type of kids that we had, types of families that we'd be dealing with, it just felt like the right time to make a switch.
So what coaching lessons might you say you came over, you took with you from baseball to your basketball position? Anything that you would say you could take over?
Yeah, I would ultimately say, just how you treat kids. I was coached hard in high school, but making sure, taking the kids' feelings into account. They have a tough stretch, that they have things that they deal with that's outside of sports. Ultimately, and just giving them the platform. You have 2 hours a night to practice. 2 hours at a game. You can forget about your outside troubles and just
Sure.
focus on one thing. So.
Well, that's for sure. What about what have you learned about coaching girls now that you didn't expect coming into this position?
Just how coachable they are. Right now I have 14 girls in our program who are very coachable. They're taking what we're trying to implement and they're trying to put it into motion. And ultimately, just the way they handle themselves. There's some days that they're a little fiery, but I know what I'm going to get day in and day out. It's not, they're pretty even keel. They just want to be the best that they possibly can be.
Back in the day, I came across this quote from Mia Hamm, a great soccer player back in the day. And when I hired as an athletic director male guys to coach ladies here at Archbold, I said, use Mia Hamm's philosophy. Her thing was treat us like ladies, but coach us like the men. And, I don't know if you see that.
And that's where, yeah. It's that's one thing is that I really had to take a step back on is just my overall intensity. I'm a pretty competitive guy, I think, and we just had to get all on the same. Once we got on the same page, it was fine. But knowing that, first day of practice, I was rah jumping around like an idiot, and
we've all been there.
Looked at me. Yep, they looked at me like I had two heads, but dialing that back and until we got comfortable with each other, and it's been a great transition.
Yeah.
Good.
What's the significance of you coming back to and coaching at your alma mater? How important is that for you?
I always feel like I have blood blue and gray. I take great pride in our community, our school district. It's a place where I'm currently raising my two sons. Mm-hmm. We live in the district, and it's just ultimately always been my goal to get back to a district that's given me so much in my lifetime.
I've got a few rapid fire type questions, Brien, and just kind of what comes to the top of your head as I mention these. So, sneakers or dress up shoe kind of guy?
Dress up shoes.
Yeah.
Baby. Liking that old school there, baby. Late game situation, you're up 3. Are we fouling, or are we just going to play the D and let it ride?
Depending on the team, but my ultimate philosophy would be let's foul them and put them on the line and put the ball in our hands.
Yeah.
At the end and just have to inbound it.
It brings me to a curiosity here. You're a baseball guy.
Yep.
And this, so maybe a late game where you're in an extra innings or an overtime situation in basketball, what would you think be more stressful?
Overtime basketball, 100%. Just because there's so many other factors. Where in baseball, it's just you got to pitch it and hit it. Basketball, you got to worry about if they're coming out in man, they're going to come out in zone.
Yep.
Who has a hot hand that day.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of other factors. So I would definitely say the overtime situation is definitely tougher.
Man or zone?
Man, 100%.
And, give you the old magic wand. You could change one rule. What would it be?
Being a basketball official, I wouldn't change any of them. So Um, uh,
That's
oh
safe.
man. Yep. The carry. Change the carry.
Okay.
Make it more strict.
Okay.
Well, how about this? In practices, do you ever find yourself throwing a baseball term or terminology out during practice, during your basketball practices? Anything slip out after 10 years of baseball practices?
You, you know, I haven't had it yet, but now that you jinxed me, it's probably going to happen the night of practice.
Well, that
So,
wouldn't be a jinx. That'd be good. That'd be a good thing. They'd understand
yep.
that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just thinking that would probably be something that would come out. Tourney draw
Yep.
is this Sunday. Looking forward to your first tournament draw, Brian.
Yeah. I think we've put ourselves in a good situation, to host a tournament game. I think as of right now, we're sitting as a 2 seed. Fayette's close behind us. I think Stryker pretty much has the 1 seed locked up, but 3 and 4 between 2, 3 and 4 between us, Fayette and Edgerton. I like where we're at. We're playing pretty good basketball right now. But again, just kind of looking to see how everything unfolds on Sunday.
Well, your sectional will either feed into the Archbold district or the Ottawa-Glandorf district. So that's a choice you're going to have to make at some point this Sunday, and that's always interesting. It's going to be fun to see what happens.
Yeah, I have a great support system. Like I said, with John Gallagher, previous varsity coaching experience. Hannah Brown, who's played for us, she brings great insight, and also having my athletic director also be our boys basketball coach, and Matt Ripke. Just bouncing ideas off them, kind of seeing what they're thinking. But Coach Ripke gave the best advice I think so far. Is with how everything is set up, there's too many factors, to lose sleep over this week. You ultimately have to just wait and see. You almost have to just wait and see how everything falls, and then go from there.
Right.
But we have an idea on kind of what we want to do. But again, somebody could throw a wrench in that, and then we go back to the drawing board on Sunday on the fly. So
yeah, but I just say keep it simple, Brian. Keep it simple.
Yep, it's with it being the first one. I've only lost a couple hours of sleep over it, but that's all right.
What about going back into your varied background, Brian? Was there a piece of coaching advice that you may have received along the way that you've kind of adhered to and stick to those principles?
It's Coach Hammer always told us, it's do what's best for the program. All the other individual goals and all that stuff, that's great and all, but as long as you have the program's best interest in mind, you'll always he always felt you'd be successful. And that's kind of something I've carried over with our girls program, as talking to we had a few girls that received some accolades last year, and they want to build on those goals, but they're all team players, and they said as long as the team wins, we don't care. And that's again one other thing that when I first met with the girls, is they're team first.
Oh, that's great. I mean,
they don't care about individuals. They just, as long as we get the win, that's all that matters.
Oh, that's evident in your team success and how they're approaching the game, and it's going to pay off this year. And you got some young kids in your program who are seeing that same mentality, so that'll be future success as well.
Well, Brian,
Yep.
I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
just one thing we stress. No, that's just one thing we stress is team first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey, we appreciate it, Brian, and I tell you what, I think you're on top of things there, and we wish you the best. You've had a great season so far, and you want to wrap it up here in a strong way and get into that tournament, have a nice tournament run. So, wish you the best, Brian. Going ahead. Thanks a lot for your time today.
Hey, thanks, guys. Go Bombers.
All right.
Want to welcome Dave Storrer, longtime assistant coach at the Wauseon Indians, to our Coach's Corner. Storrer, man, thanks a lot for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. And you know what? You've been over there 42 years as an assistant coach. That is a long, long time, and that's so amazing. So, Dave, what keeps the fire burning over there for you?
That's a good question. I always said that when it got to the point where I didn't enjoy it anymore, I would get out. But that hasn't happened yet. My original plan was to get out when Kyle graduated in 2004. So here I am 22 years later.
That's just a couple years.
Still doing it. Right. So I enjoy being around the kids and being around basketball and being around our other coaches.
Well, that makes sense to me. Dave, you've you've worn a lot of hats over there. I just go through this list. You're obviously a husband, a father, a grandfather, a retired teacher, an athletic director. You're an assistant coach, obviously still are, a car salesman, but most recently you are a heart attack survivor. And that's quite the story. And I want to share a little bit of that experience with us. That is a huge story that you can share.
Yeah, I will try to keep it brief.
Well, that's fine.
We did American Heart Association reached out to me and wanted me to do a video that they could share at the annual Heart Ball. So they came in and just videotaped it, and they said, just start talking and tell us. Well, it was 45 minutes. So hopefully
we don't have that long, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, we need the Cliff Notes version.
All right. So May 8th, last year, 2025, had gone upstairs and to take a shower to join my wife in Napoleon babysitting the grandkids. And it just felt like somebody hit me in the chest with a sledgehammer. So I sat down, the pain didn't go away. I laid down, briefly didn't go away. So I went in and took 2 aspirin and called 911. So that was all in about a 2-minute time span. So ambulance got here, loaded me up and headed to the hospital, Fulton County Health Center, which is 5 minutes away from my home. And by the time I got there, I don't remember coming out of the ambulance into the emergency department. I do remember them asking me to take my pullover off. They had to do an EKG. And I said, okay. So I took it off and said, you got to give me something for the pain. And they said, well, you have to sit still so we can do an EKG. I said, I can't. You have to give me something for the pain. So my next recollection then, and I didn't know where I was or who was talking, but it ended up being Dr. Gabor in the cath lab at Fulton County Health Center, which had been open for 6 months. And the amazing thing that the team was all in place by the time I got there. And I remember, again, not knowing who was talking, but it was Dr. Gabor. I heard him say, we're inserting a wire, and felt him pushing on my leg. And we're inserting a balloon, felt him pushing on my leg. And then, I woke up and he had installed a balloon pump, which was beating my heart for me, because he said when I got to him in the cath lab, I was gray, I had no pulse, and my BP was 40.
Oh.
So from the time I got to the ER until he had the balloon pump inserted was 19 minutes, which is just amazing to me that it was done that quickly. And they transported me to Toledo by ambulance on that Thursday, and Friday afternoon I had triple bypass surgery, and that was Friday, had the surgery and came home on Wednesday, and my recovery went really, really well. And I did a lot of walking, and I have to give credit to the ladies at the cardiac rehab at the hospital, because I was going there 3 times a week, and they were very instrumental in my recovery. And, they told me that it's going to be 5 or 6 months full recovery, but I was playing golf by the end of August, and everything has gone well.
That is so sweet. And it's, what an unbelievable story that I'm sure glad you were around to tell it. Trust me on that.
And I will say this, a shout out again to the Dr. Gabor and the cath lab, because if that wasn't out there, I would not have made it to Toledo.
Yeah.
He told me that when I got there, I had about another 3 or 4 minutes and I would have died.
Well, a big shout out to FCHC, the cath lab.
Exactly.
That's awesome. You know what? Listen, one more question, not along that, but what's one lesson then now, Dave, go back to the coaching a little bit. What's one lesson you've tried to pass on to your athletes that goes beyond basketball?
Well, I think is everything you do, there's a purpose for what you do. God has a plan for everybody. I think that just is something that we need to get across to all high school athletes, because they, when you're in high school, you think nothing's ever going to happen. I'm 68 years old, and I certainly never expected a heart attack, but I'm here, and because of God's grace and mercy, and I say thanks every morning, and
for sure.
I'm glad I'm still here.
Oh, for sure.
Well, we mentioned your length of time at Wauseon, and during that time, Dave, boy, you have been witness to some unbelievable basketball teams. As an assistant coach, maybe during your tenure as the AD, but nonetheless, unbelievable basketball teams, players, coaches, etc. But two stand out to us. We go back to the 94 team, 1994, which was Wauseon's first team to the state tournament. We both had the unfortunate pleasure to have to coach against those guys, and that was no fun.
No.
But boy, I look back and say, between you and Chad Burt, you basically are the two connections to those teams. Chad was a senior that year. So what do you remember about the 94 team?
Well, and I was athletic director during that time, and it was all the games were really fun. Maybe leading up to the games with ticket sales and everything was not quite so much fun, and you guys know, you've had state teams too, and what a great, community support you get from everybody, and the school support you get from everybody. And that was really fun. And I thought about this, and I told Ken Burguy this when we went back in 2017, that he is the big reason why we're there. All the assistant coaches that we have and had that at that point played for Ken.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, goes to say our longevity as a coaching staff. And I think that makes a huge difference, as you guys well know, with Archbold and Patrick Henry, the staff that you guys assembled. And I will say to this, that it was never much fun playing Archbold and Patrick Henry either during all those times, because you guys had some great teams also.
Yeah, the league was really special back then. That was for sure. But that particular season, you ran a perfect year until the last game of the season. 94, and you lost a heartbreaker. Like you talk about a shootout, 97-95 to Toledo Rogers was your sole loss at the end of the year. So that catapulted you into the tournament, and sure enough, you went all the way to the state final. You beat the Ironton team, which I thought was neat because you just played them in football, and beat them for your state championship in football, but lost to a pretty doggone team out of Cleveland Villa St. Joe. Led by Melvin Levitt, who could just jump out of the gym.
Oh, he was a good jump. Big time.
He was a little more athletic than anybody we put on the floor. He was a nice player.
Yeah. Well, then obviously transitioned to 17, and you talked about Kenny's relationship to that team with all the coaches. But what do you remember about that team specifically in terms of players?
We had some great players, but we had even better kids. Mm-hmm. And I've said for a long time, it's nice when your best players are your hardest workers.
Oh, yeah.
And that team, they were, and they held each other accountable. And I think the best thing that happened to us that year was we lost the second game of the year to Genoa. Mm-hmm. We had beaten Archbold the first game of the season, didn't have Austin Rotroff. He was injured. He didn't play the second game. And I think our kids went into Genoa thinking, okay, we're Wauseon. We'll just come in here and be able to walk all over them. Well, that didn't happen. And that was a refocusing for everybody at that point. And then we just took, everything one game at a time and made it to the state finals and against another pretty good program.
Yeah, another Akron St. V. St. Mary. They've kind of have a little folklore going themselves, but just unbelievable runs. Unfortunately, you didn't claim the trophy you wanted to claim, but still great memories for Wauseon basketball, and you were a big piece of that. So congrats on that.
Oh, thanks. And I think our team the following year was even better.
Yeah.
We had gone undefeated until we played Lexington on Thursday in the regional semis, and Austin Rotroff sprained his ankle on Tuesday at practice, and we weren't sure if he was going to be able to play. So they taped him up before the game. The trainer even used duct tape. And, he played and was probably 50%, but that was, I think, maybe even a better team than we had the year before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, I can trust me. That was my last year of coaching, and that was a really good squad. You've been there the whole time there. You've worked with under three coaches during your time there. Of course, a lot of respect for your first one, Jim Snow. What a great man he was. I always enjoyed my time with Jim. But I know you spent a lot of time with our good friend Ken Burguy. For 21 years you were with Ken.
Right.
And then you, of course, brought Chad in, and now Chad's been there and doing it for another 18 years. So that gets up 42 for you. And let's look at Kenny and Chad. How about some similarities and some differences between the two as far as their coaching styles and so forth?
I think the biggest thing with both of them, and it started with Ken, I think, with the culture that he created, for Wauseon basketball, and Chad having played for him, and now he's continued that culture. But both coaches are extremely good at game preparation the week of the game. Going over scouting report and a very detailed scouting report. So we hope going in that we don't see too many things that we're not prepared for, and it's just if we can get the kids to communicate and recognize what's going on. But they were both, and both of them just good people.
Mm-hmm. Sure,
and I think that's tremendous. And that the kids that play for him, that played for both of them, realize that, maybe not at the time, but realize then afterwards what good people they were and how fortunate they were to have coaches like Ken and Chad.
Well, I would concur with that for sure. How about this one? Take a look at Chad specifically. So was it easier coaching Chad Burt or easier coaching with Chad Burt?
Well, I never got the chance to coach him. For the 4 years he was in high school, I was athletic
You were
director.
the AD.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to coach him. But I did have him in class as a math student. It used to make me mad because he wouldn't ever show any work, and he'd always come up with the right answers. But now he's like I said, he is really prepared. We are prepared, and we go into each game, and we'll see if we can, this Friday night, if we can keep the Archbold kids under wrap.
Well, you mentioned that, and I'm glad you did. This is Archbold week, and Dave, you realize you've been involved in 87 Archbold Wauseon games. I did a little math myself.
Okay.
And that's interesting because there's been 221 total games between the two schools, and that means you've been involved about 40% of them.
Wow. Okay, I did not realize that.
And you and Joe Frank probably be about the same number there.
Right.
So
right.
That's pretty impressive. And of course, the record there, your record is 35-52, which is not too shabby, in my opinion, from this angle.
Well,
I'd rather have it 87-0.
Well, let's understand this. He wouldn't be saying it if it was the opposite.
Right,
he
good
wouldn't
point.
be sharing that. So
Yeah, I share numbers with you, don't I?
That's a good point.
Well, let me just ask you another thing, because I think your background and the length of your career, Dave, speaks for itself. But you got to have some advice that you would maybe give to a young coach today who's starting out, and that you can share with that young person.
And I think young coaches, and I was one of them, you get caught up in your number of wins and losses as a young coach. And then as you get older, you realize what you're doing is for the betterment of the program. And wins and losses sure are important, but it's not the, be all end all. It's let's make sure we're doing things the right way, being good role models for the kids that we're coaching, and doing things the right way for the entire program.
Well, that's good advice.
Yeah,
No doubt.
you've lived that, and you're a testament to that. So appreciate that response.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're going to wrap this up, Dave. That's awesome, the time we've been able to spend with you, and just give you kudos for what you've done at Wauseon. You've been a great addition, or you're not addition, you're a great part of what Wauseon's all about, and I appreciate your friendship as well.
Well, thank you. Yep, I appreciate that too with both of you.
Okay.
All right, well, appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Time now to thank our sponsors for Season 2 of Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat. Our title sponsor this season, the Terry Hendricks Auto Group. Terry Hendricks sells and services new and used vehicles with a reputation for professional service. Visit or contact both Terry Hendricks Ford and Terry Hendricks Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Archbold. D&G Welding of Archbold. Call 419-445-5751 and ask about their mobile service. Rely on D&G Welding for all your welding needs. American Freedom Energy, located just off US 24 on Highway 109 by Liberty Center. If you're traveling in the area, stop in for a fuel fill-up of high-quality Marathon gasoline. And while you're there, pop into Grandma's General Store. You'll find locally produced grocery items from local Henry, Fulton, Defiance, and Williams County producers. Ward's Power Sports and Carts in South Archbold, your hometown experts for top-quality golf carts and UTVs. Stop by or go to www.wardscarts.com and see why they're the area's trusted choice. S&W Mills of Archbold, proud supporters of the Archbold Blue Streaks and all our area students and athletes. Call S&W Mills of Archbold for all of your animal bedding needs at 419-445-5206. Viking Trucking in Ridgeville Corners. They provide reliable transportation for your construction materials like stone, dirt, asphalt, rough material. They handle all types of heavy materials for your construction needs. Call 419-267-3319. Viking Trucking, where quality doesn't cost, it performs. Thiel Construction in Blakesley. They excel in custom residential and commercial construction services. They offer custom home building, remodeling, commercial build-outs, and project management. Trust Thiel Construction for your next construction project. Also, while you're in Blakesley, visit the Thiel Supply Center. From power tools to plumbing supplies, they offer everything needed to tackle any job. The Sherwood State Bank, with branches in Sherwood, Defiance, Archbold, and Fayette, offering banking and financial services for consumers, business, agriculture, and investments. Call the main branch at 419-899-2111 or visit one of the local 4 branches nearest you. And Innovatech Solutions of Archbold, your trusted technology partner. Call 419-445-8088 to learn more about their many services or visit them online at innovatechsolutions.net. That's Innovatech with a K, solutions.net. Thanks to all our sponsors for Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat Season 2, and we do sincerely hope that you, our listeners, will patronize these fine businesses. And if you enjoy Hoop Chat, thank our sponsors for supporting the program.
Hey, we want to welcome Mack Hieber to the senior spotlight of our show this afternoon. Mack's a senior from Patrick Henry. Heebs, hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, you're in your senior season already. Hard to believe. 4 years have flown by, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
way too
well,
fast.
you've grown up. As you entered high school back in the day, how tall might you have been?
I am 6'6". Some people say I'm 6'7", but I like to say I'm 6'6".
Were you 2 or 3 out going into your freshman year?
Going into freshman year, I was 6'4", I think.
Okay.
Getting close up 6'5", so
right.
yeah. Yep.
But obviously, the 6'6" plus frame you're carrying now has had a great senior season. 23 points a game, 12 rebounds. It's a great double-double to be charting and putting in the stat book every night. But we want to just kind of backtrack a little bit. You know, you're having a great season this year, but a year ago you were part of a really historical season. You know, undefeated, and then going and running that all the way out to the regional where you lost, unfortunately. But obviously, Lincoln got a lot of pub. Reed and yourself get a lot of pub for that. But, you know, as you look at your team this year, you know, who are some guys, Mack, that you feel maybe are deserving of some recognition as well?
Yeah, I feel like Tristan Rosebrook has really stepped into his own. He played JV last year, and he's been really lighting it up when we need him. So I like to give him light, and Brien as well. He gets a lot of rebounds, some stuff that people don't normally see. And also Calvin Schrader, when he goes out every game and normally guards their best player. So we expect a lot from him, and he shows up. And, you know, it's all of our wins are team efforts. So no one can do it by themselves. And I really am happy with how our team's doing this year, especially when Reed went down.
Yeah,
so we need a lot from other people to step up, and I feel like we're playing well right now.
Yeah, it's a good time to get healthy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've already mentioned you're in your 4th season. And earlier this year, you reached a milestone of 1,000 points, so congrats on that.
Big time, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
And didn't take long to pass your dad's numbers.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you kind of rub it in on him?
I never even brought it up.
Oh, well,
I like humility. I like that.
I think I'd have just killed him on it. But anyway, so as you look back over these 4 years, what's maybe your biggest area of growth that you think you've really progressed with the most?
My freshman and sophomore year, I didn't really like to be in the post. I feel like that's completely opposite now. I feel a lot more comfortable in the post than the perimeter. My rebounding has gotten a lot better. If you'd have told me I was averaging 12 rebounds a game my senior year, I would have told you you're nuts. Like my freshman year, I was probably not even averaging like 2 a game. So that's something that I really take pride in, and that I feel like I've grown a lot in.
What do you think's been key to that advancement in your rebounding?
Just feeling like growing into my body. I feel like I'm more confident in going down there, and I realize I never had realized how big I actually was, and knowing that, and I can just take that aggression and just go in and get the rebound for myself and not let anyone go and get it.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to get all the rebounds. So
and it's
once I have that in my head.
Yeah, it's a mentality too, as you just said. It's something I can do this, and I'm just going to get every rebound. So that's obviously something you've adhered to.
Mack, you've played in a lot of big games in both your sports, baseball and basketball, and including like last Friday night against Liberty Center when Liberty Center came to the House of Heat. Tell us about that environment and the atmosphere of that night, last Friday night.
Yeah, it's a great environment for sure. I love those games. I'd rather play in a game like that than an absolute blowout. Our student section showed up, our fans showed up, and so did theirs, and we played a good game and came out with the win. And I'm really proud of our guys for staying composed, even when it got close. We could have easily lost our edge there at the end and lost the game, but I'm proud of how our guys stayed together, and even in a tough environment. Proud of our guys.
For sure. When you get in the atmospheres and games like that, tell you get ramped up and it's fun to play in. As you go in a game like that, you kind of hit on a little bit there. What's your mindset as you go into a game like that when you know the pressure is going to be the highest? That was a game that was, if you guys lose, you're out of the league race, basically. So that's a lot of heat on that, a lot of pressure. What's your mindset going into that?
Yeah, I feel like the pressure's on them. I feel like we go out loose and we play hard, and then we just do what we need to do. Everyone does their jobs, then we'll come out with the win. But if we press and we get too worked up and amped up and start thinking about all the things that could go wrong, then it will go wrong. So you got to stay on the positive side and be sure that everything will go the way you want it to. And when you manifest that, I feel like it helps a lot.
I like that.
Well, going back many moons ago, there was a guy on my team named Brien Hieber, and he had some good teammates, and they accomplished some really special things as well. But the one thing I always talked about your dad was the fact that he's one of the best competitors that I ever had the pleasure to coach. So I guess my question for you then is, how has Coach Brien Hieber / Dad Brien Hieber, how has he impacted your level of competitiveness and your love of competition?
Yeah, definitely from a young age, everything was a competition. Everything was competitive, and he made sure that if we lost, it hurt, and we would know about it. So losing is definitely not something I like. So competition's always been a big thing, and he definitely installs that in practice. A lot of stuff is competition. There's always stuff on the line. So I feel like once you have that edge of competition, it really helps you in your game, and stuff comes a lot easier.
Well, I was texting with him just maybe last week or so when the school was delayed or canceled, et cetera. And I said, well, you've been out and about or practicing? And he goes, well, I'm at the school right now and I'm catching Mack. So he's your bullpen catcher at times. Can he handle that job? How's his catching skills?
Yeah, he warms me up. I'll throw with him before I get on the mound. And then once I get on the mound, we put out like a 9 square. It has 9 holes, and it's like a strike zone. I just throw into that because I don't think that'd be good if you would catch a bullpen. You might get hurt. So
yeah, you'd have to.
I don't really do that anymore. But sometimes Lane Beater said will come out and catch me, so I like that. Yeah, he does catch me though. It gets interesting.
I like that. I'd like to see a picture of him with the gear on behind the plate and so forth. But that's neat that he does that, and probably a good idea. You use the screen then too. How about this question? What's harder mentally? Now think about this: a late game foul shot in a tight, a tie ball game, or the bottom of the 7th. You're on the mound, bases loaded on the batter, full count. On balls and strikes, full count. What's a tougher situation mentally?
I'd probably have to go with a foul shot because I know all the work I put in for baseball, and I feel like that comes more naturally to me rather than shooting a foul shot, which I know I put a lot more work into baseball than I do basketball. So definitely the foul shot for me.
Well, that's probably a good answer because I've seen you pitch, and you can put that ball pretty much where you want. And now foul shots, you know what? I don't know if I'm fouling you late in the game or not, but we'll take our chances, and that if I have to. But good answer to that. you're going to Ohio State with your baseball commitment. What went into that decision for Ohio State? Can you give us some background on that?
Yeah, I had 4 offers coming out of the period that coaches were allowed to contact me. It was BG, Toledo, Cincinnati, and Ohio State.
Nice.
And I visited all of them, and it really just comes down to the coaches. Like you know that you have to commit to the coach, not the school. And obviously, I really liked Ohio State's coaches, the plan that they had for me, all the things that they're planning for the future. I really had the same plan and path. So all the stars just aligned, and I decided that's where I wanted to be. And obviously, that's been my dream school my entire life. Growing up in Ohio, everyone's an Ohio State kid, so it was just a dream come true.
Well, that's well said, no doubt. And I like your point. You align with the coaches as opposed to the school. I mean, because you know what, that's big because you're going to be working with them for 4 years, as well. So,
Any idea, Mack, what you might be choosing for a course of study?
I don't have really any idea yet. I've been looking into some stuff, but no, I haven't chosen anything yet.
Yeah. I know there's a slew of young Patriot fans, male, female, etc., that come to the games and cheer you guys all on. But, if you could share some advice to any one of those youngsters, what would it be?
Stay consistent. Stay in the gym. Whatever you're doing with your school, make sure you're doing stuff outside of that. Because if you stay doing what everyone else is doing, you're going to stay at everyone else's level. So you got to do stuff outside of school and always stay consistent and try to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Nice. As you are in your 4th year at PH, obviously, what's it meant to you to represent your school as a senior now and through your whole year? You're just a Patrick Henry, being a Patriot yourself. What's that meant to you?
It's definitely meant a lot to me. I mean, I see all the guys that come through here, like big names, and I just want to be up there with them. And like just looking at the Hall of Fame, I've always wanted just to be in there and have the Patrick Henry across my chest, and so ever since I was little, and to be able to represent our school, it means a lot to me, and to have it on good light is also very meaningful to me. So I'm really proud.
Well, you've represented well at Mack, and we kind of certainly wish you the best. We're going to end it here, but boy, you've got some big games coming up and some great opportunities to make some super memories for you and your squad and your community. So, hey, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mack.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Good luck. Want to welcome to our senior spotlight a couple young ladies from the Delta Lady Panthers, Keagyn, Gillen, and Abbie, Todd. Welcome, you ladies. Appreciate their taking the time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, great. Your Lady Panthers are on quite a roll. You're now 16-3, 5-0 in the conference. You got a huge game Thursday night over at Patrick Henry, and that league that game is going to come down to tell you who's going to win the league championship. Whoever wins gets a piece of it for sure, and that makes it kind of fun. You got to be looking forward to that, don't you? Abbie,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Abbie, you start.
I'm really looking forward to it. I know that the energy in the gym is going to be really, really high, and I know that both sides of like our fans and their fans, I think the gym's going to be really packed, and I'm really excited to see how we come together and play.
Great. Go ahead.
I'm excited to see how we play as a team. It'll really be a test to see what we've been working on all week in practice. Just looking forward to coming out and making to see if we can do it.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll do well. Let's take a look at your squad. Like I said, doing a great job. Let's go Abbie first. Tell us who some of your teammates are that's been a very key to your success on your squad.
I think both of us have been a really good key to our success. Also, our point guard, Anna Lohman. She is really good under pressure. She handles the ball super well, has good passes, lots of assists. Also, our bigs, Addison Wise and Olivia Morey, they help us with rebounding and putbacks, and they really are aggressive down there.
Okay, and now Keagyn, let's take you behind a peek behind the curtain here and looking at your squad a little bit. What makes this team so special in your eyes?
Honestly, with the girls who start, we do great and we keep up the energy, but the energy mainly comes from the bench as well. The girls are always paying attention, ready to go whenever with Ellie Martinez, Annabelle Gillen, Grace Mainhart. They all are ready to go, paying attention the entire game, and I think that's a really good thing for them and to always be focused.
I think you guys obviously have been teammates for a long time. Let's take a look here. Abbie, if I was going to ask you a question, how would you describe Keagyn's game? Describe her game for us. A little scouting report.
She's very aggressive. She's always on the ground getting loose balls. She's not afraid to go through contact. She's always getting those fouls called on her to shoot those foul shots. She's just really aggressive, has really good passes, and yeah.
Well, that's good. Now, Keagyn, you get to return the favor.
Yeah. So Abbie, she's a great ball handler, and she's always ready to shoot the three. I could never shoot the three, so I'm really amazed that she can. And then her defense is great as well. Always kicking the ball. She always knows where the pass is going. She's ready to get those steals, get the stop them from passing, scoring, and all that.
Nice.
Is that soccer background?
Yeah. Yeah.
Carries through. Good sports do that from time to time. What you've had this great season, piggybacked on a season from last year, which was a super year as well. But what really has impressed me about your season has been really your last two losses. I mean, these losses are to two very skilled teams, higher divisions, Toledo Central Catholic, Toledo Whitmer. While losses, sometimes they can become good learning opportunities. So what do you take from either of those games moving forward?
Both of those teams, I think both those teams are really good challenges for us. Since last year, we knew that our season would be a lot tougher for us and a lot more challenging games for us. I think both of those games, those losses are learning experiences for us. We know what we did wrong. We watched film to watch our mistakes to get better, and I think that it's making us tougher, more mentally and physically for future games the big game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to add to that, Keagyn?
I think it just really showed us what we need to prevent and what we need to work on, because we don't want to keep having those kinds of losses, because they were tough losses.
Sure.
And we can come together as a team after those losses and realize what we need to work on and just keep focusing.
Yeah, good. Those are, you always learn from mistakes or losses and so forth. And I've always felt you can't be afraid to fail. So now you can learn from those. Let's take a look at your own game. Okay, Abbie, start with you. Where have you grown most as a player since your freshman year?
I think I've grown the most in my confidence. My freshman year, I didn't get as much varsity playing time, but when I did go in, I was kind of shy to shoot the ball, and I was hesitant because I was just a little freshman coming in with all these upperclassmen, and I didn't want to fail. But as the years went on, I think my confidence grew. I'm driving a lot more, shooting the ball when I'm open. Mm-hmm. Not being selfish, but taking those shots when we definitely need them. Just confidence in general, especially on defense. I got a lot more confidence with that, and always just moving around and talking, and just mainly my confidence.
All right, very good. Keagyn?
I would say confidence as well, but also aggression. Last year, I was okay, but I definitely have picked up aggression this year. I try to go for balls all the time, and I focus on contact and going in hard and just trying to do the best that I can. And I think that's something I've worked on a lot since freshman year, because I didn't want to do those things freshman year. I was scared, and now I'm not.
There you go.
Keagyn, what's your mentality as a rebounder? I think you lead the team in rebounds, so that's always a good stat, and somebody's got to do that. So how do you made that happen in part of your game?
Honestly, I focus a lot on rebounding in practice, and I make sure that I want to make sure I can contribute something to my team, because not all the time it's not a scoring game all the time. So I need to make sure I can get those opportunities for my teammates, because rebounding is a major part of basketball. If you don't get the ball, another second chance for the other team.
Absolutely. I always like to ask these questions. Abbie, you wear number 4. Why?
Yeah.
What's the significance of wearing number 4 for you?
Well, in middle school, I wore number 5, and I just like always liked that number. My freshman year, I came on and I got stuck with number 32 because it was the smallest size, and I was the last to pick because I was a freshman. But then another girl quit the next year, so then number 4 opened up, so I just took that, and it was close enough to number 5.
That's
so.
real close.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Keagyn? 20,
24.
24, yeah.
Or yeah, it was actually my mom's number in high school, and I just thought, I kind of like the number, so I just guess I'd choose it.
Well, that's good. Hey, might as well wear what your mom does. How about that? Speaking of that, who in both of your sports careers, we'll start with you, Keagyn, who has been instrumental in helping you get toward starting your sports career, and what was the key to that? Who are some of the people behind the scenes?
Definitely my parents. They've always been pushing me to just keep going and try my hardest. And then also the friends around me, because we've been playing. There's 6 of us seniors who play, and we've just been playing basketball since some of us second grade, some of us middle school, and it's just been hard work pushing each other to get better every day.
And go ahead, Abbie, likewise.
I would say my dad mostly because even though it's not basketball, I played soccer growing up, and I didn't start basketball until about 5th grade, but my dad has been my soccer coach for a long time, so he's really into a bunch of sports, and he was the one that got me into trying basketball. And then also Coach Gillen, her mom, because she was our coach since middle school, and she's always believed in me and pushed me to my full potential, and she knows my full potential, and she's always pushing me to get there. Also my friends, because we've been together for so long. We have like a great bond together, and we just know each other's game, and it's just really, really fun to play with each other when we all like get along.
Okay, well, you mentioned Coach Gillen. So, Keagyn, back to you. So, having your mom as the coach, okay, if I ask, is it tougher having you get yelled at by your mom as a coach at this practice or game, or is it tougher getting yelled at by your mom at home when she's mom?
Probably at practices and games, because she doesn't really yell at me at home. It's more practices and games because she knows what I can do, and she just wants me to do it. And we fight a little bit sometimes on that, but
Yeah, we both coached our sons too, so we know how that works. But I just wanted to hear your perspective.
It's a fun dynamic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And making great memories for sure.
Yep. I had the privilege of going to watch you two ladies play at the Jungle when you played the Blue Streaks here a couple of weeks ago, and you guys played really well. But what really impressed me was you had a great crowd that night, and a bunch of young kids, young Panther kids were there. And I know they were looking up at your team and saying, wow, this is pretty neat. So what advice would you give those young Panther boys and girls that were looking at you guys and say, boy, I want to play like that too? What would you say, Abbie? Start with you.
I would just tell them that even like through the hard times, even when you think that you aren't good enough, like you always will be good enough. You'll always get better. There's always room to grow. You just have to learn from your mistakes. Even if you're getting down on yourself, you have to like grow your confidence and lean on those around you, lean on your coaches. Look up to the other people like in high school when they're watching the high schoolers. Just pay attention and see how much fun they're having, and then just think about how much fun you're gonna have those years that you're growing up with all your friends.
Very good. Keagyn?
I'd say while you can focus on that, make sure it's not everything, because when it's everything, it can get to be a lot, and you have to rely on other factors other than just the sport. Because within the sport, you make a lot of friends, and like those friends can get you through it. It can make you better. It can make you like more. Oh wow, what's the word? Like, I'm really blanking.
Well-rounded. How's that? Well-rounded.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, hey, ladies, you guys did a great job, and we sure appreciate you taking the time. And, got a huge game at Patrick Henry. We wish you the best in that, and we wish you continued success as you wind down your season and into your final run in the tournament coming up. So thanks a lot, and best wishes to you both.
Thank you.
Time now to thank our sponsors for Season 2 of Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat. Our title sponsor this season, the Terry Hendricks Auto Group. Terry Hendricks sells and services new and used vehicles with a reputation for professional service. Visit or contact both Terry Hendricks Ford and Terry Hendricks Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Archbold. D&G Welding of Archbold. Call 419-445-5751 and ask about their mobile service. Rely on D&G Welding for all your welding needs. American Freedom Energy, located just off US 24 on Highway 109 by Liberty Center. If you're traveling in the area, stop in for a fuel fill-up of high-quality Marathon gasoline. And while you're there, pop into Grandma's General Store. You'll find locally produced grocery items from local Henry, Fulton, Defiance, and Williams County producers. Ward's Power Sports and Carts in South Archbold, your hometown experts for top-quality golf carts and UTVs. Stop by or go to www.wardscarts.com and see why they're the area's trusted choice. S&W Mills of Archbold, proud supporters of the Archbold Blue Streaks and all our area students and athletes. Call S&W Mills of Archbold for all of your animal bedding needs at 419-445-5206. Viking Trucking in Ridgeville Corners. They provide reliable transportation for your construction materials like stone, dirt, asphalt, rough material. They handle all types of heavy materials for your construction needs. Call 419-267-3319. Viking Trucking, where quality doesn't cost, it performs. Theo Construction in Blakesley. They excel in custom residential and commercial construction services. They offer custom home building, remodeling, commercial build-outs, and project management. Trust Theo Construction for your next construction project. Also, while you're in Blakesley, visit the Theo Supply Center. From power tools to plumbing supplies, they offer everything needed to tackle any job. The Sherwood State Bank, with branches in Sherwood, Defiance, Archbold, and Fayette, offering banking and financial services for consumers, business, agriculture, and investments. Call the main branch at 419-899-2111 or visit one of the local 4 branches nearest you. And Innovatech Solutions of Archbold, your trusted technology partner. Call 419-445-8088 to learn more about their many services or visit them online at innovatechsolutions.net. That's Innovatech with a K, solutions.net. Thanks to all our sponsors for Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat Season 2, and we do sincerely hope that you, our listeners, will patronize these fine businesses. And if you enjoy Hoop Chat, thank our sponsors for supporting the program. Well, that sound means it's the final buzzer segment of our program. Guys, let's get your thoughts right now on league races. It's coming down the stretch here in girls basketball and boys, also tournament seedings.
Yeah, we do have some great battles going on in the respective leagues around the area. Let's just start with the NLL guys. At the Cardinal side, where Napoleon's at. Currently, Napoleon is 7-1 with Fremont 7-1. So they have one more game to play. A couple more games to play. They got 10 league games. If they both win out or whatever, they're going to garner a share of the league, like Napoleon did a year ago, which is where they want to be. But the key thing is Southview. Southview is 6-2. But they have to play both those teams. So Southview can basically upset the whole apple cart, and if they get 2 wins, now they're in the picture as well and sharing in the 3-way. So interesting to see what will happen in the NLL Cardinal division.
Well, moving along to the Buckeye Border Conference, Stryker has been unbeaten so far through 5 games. They're 5-0. They have 2 more league games left. Thursday with North Central, and then next week with Fayette. But also you have 5-1 Edon right behind, along with Fayette, who's 4-1. So again, conceivably, Stryker gets 1 more win. They're going to have title share, and if Fayette can win their game against Montpelier, then Stryker the following week, they could also be involved with a title share. But Edon, all they have to do is win 1 more game, and they have a possible tie for a 6-1 record as well. So some interesting games there.
GMC, it's real simple. Paulding and Fairview are 6-0, and Thursday night at Paulding, they'll settle it. So the winner takes home the league championship Thursday night. And then finally in the NWL, we really have a race. You know, tonight or Thursday night, we have Delta 5-0, Patrick Henry 5-0. The winner of that game will set themselves up in a prime spot. Archbold's right back behind them, 4-1. They have a huge game with Wauseon on Thursday, and then we'll host PH next week. So things are unsettled there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, first of all, between the Delta PH game, who takes the lead at least for the week, and after that, what happens a week out. But a lot of fun basketball to watch for sure.
Yeah, I agree, and it's what it's all about. And then, like we said, we have the seeding for the girls this week for tournament, and that's always exciting as well.
Absolutely.
All right, once again, we invite you all to drop us a line, our listeners. Thank you for listening to today's program. Thanks to all of our guests. You can also ask us questions if you want to contact us through X. You can find us on Hoop Chat on X. Leave us a message at NWOH Hoop Chat. You can also email your questions to NW Ohio Hoop Chat. That's all one word, NW Ohio Hoop Chat at gmail.com. We've got that on the screen on YouTube. Thanks to our listeners for joining us for this week's edition of Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat. Thanks once again to our title sponsor, the Terry Hendricks Auto Group. This has been a production of WMTR Sports. For Doug and Dave Krause, I'm producer Ryan Throne. And what do we say?
See you courtside.